This video is sponsored by Squarespace. If you need a website, a domain, or an online store, make it with Squarespace. Every great creative project that's ever been made, whether that was a photographic project, a book, a film, a painting, whether it was a video game, or even an invention, all of these things have one factor in common that makes them great. It's what differentiates them from bad projects, and that is that they were built around a good idea. Nothing is more fundamental to making a project successful than having a solid, creative and innovative idea holding the whole thing together. So when we're learning a craft, we can learn all the rules that go with that. We can learn compositional rules, we can learn rules about structure, we can learn how to use technical equipment, we can learn how to work with people to get the best out of them. But the very nature of ideas kind of means there are no rules that will separate what a good idea is from a bad idea, beyond the obvious other people also thinking it's a good idea. So does it then follow that we can't be taught how to think of a good idea? Well, actually no. I think there's a 4-step process that we can learn that will help us think of good ideas. So hopefully by the end of this video, I'll have taken you through that process and given you the tools to create good ideas, and also possibly quelled any fears you may have had that the plot of Terminator will actually happen, but let's come back to that one. So anyway, to start this off, let me show you 3 photographic projects. These photos are by American portrait photographer Richard Rinaldi. The project is entitled Touching Strangers, and Rinaldi does not know these people. They're all people he approached on the street and asked to take their portrait. They're shot on an 8x10 large format camera, and they cover a diverse range of people. But this project is slightly different to other street portrait photographers' work, because the people in these shots are not only strangers to Rinaldi, but also strangers to each other. These are portraits of people physically interacting who have never met each other before. Seeing strangers pose together in this way creates a really unique and memorable set of images, and posits a vast set of questions about humanity and our expectations from an image. This simple act of asking strangers to pose together is a brilliant idea, and one that makes me go, why didn't I think of that? These images are from the project Elena by Bettina von Zwiel. She got her subjects to sit in pitch darkness while listening to Ervo Pert's Für Elena, a very slow, emotive piece of piano music. After letting her subjects succumb to the feelings evoked by hearing the music in the darkness, she would fire a bright flash and take the shot before her subjects had a chance to react. This results in a series of captures where the subject is immersed in quiet, unguarded contemplation. Juxtaposed with the brightness of the flash and the starkness of the setting, the results are insightful, surreal, and unique. Given the many troubles photographers often have with getting subjects to reveal true emotion in front of the lens, this method is another brilliant idea, and again I find myself asking why I never thought of that. And this is another example of a great idea. Lucas Zimmermann's traffic light series. He shoots long exposures of traffic lights in fog, creating these amazing ethereal beams of coloured light, divorced from its original function. And again I ask, why didn't I think of that? But why didn't I think of that? I know how lights act in fog, the way the fog carries the light, making its path visible. I know how to take long exposures, and that long exposures of traffic lights will give the appearance that all the lights are lit at once. I know how atmospheric and otherworldly shots like these would look. I know every element needed to create shots like these, and I have the technical skills and equipment necessary. Yet I didn't think to make them. So perhaps I shouldn't ask why I didn't think of this, but rather why or how Lucas Zimmermann did. Because it's not the knowledge of these individual elements that makes the idea, it's the linking of them together. Our human brains are quite unique in our ability to think of ideas. Computers can't do this because computers can't understand. They can learn, and they can learn more quickly and efficiently than any human could ever dream of, but they can't understand what they're learning. Because it's our irrationality as human beings that gives us the edge. Algorithms analyse data, but they don't understand that data or think what it could mean. And this is why AI will never overthrow us. Humans are too creative. AI is only good at becoming more efficient at what it was designed to do. But creativity demands forging seemingly illogical pathways between disconnected pieces of data, trying combinations of thought patterns that don't make sense. Because when computers come across information that doesn't make sense, when a line of code appears in an unexpected place, the whole system just crashes. Human brains don't do this. Illogical thought patterns don't crash our brains. There's a great TEDx talk by neuroscientist Dr. Henning Beck. It's called What is a Thought, and it expands on this concept further. It's very interesting. But it's not only our ability to link illogical things together, we also have theory of mind, the ability to envision how others think. This means that not only are we able to envisage new ideas, but we're also able to assess how those ideas might be received in the outside world. So this tells us why we can think of ideas, but we need to know how. So let me take you through this 4-step process. Step 1. Feeding your mind. So imagine an idea like a completed Lego model. We need to put pieces together in order to create something great, and your mind is like the box of Lego pieces. But the more we have in the box, the greater number of pieces, the greater quality, the greater variety, the better potential model we could build. So we need to fill our allegorical Lego box. The first obvious step in this is to consume lots of quality media and fill your life with as much creativity from other people as you can. Watch films, read books, go to new places, do things you've never done before, learn new skills. But it's not about just what you know, we need more than that. It's also about how you think. You need to break out of your thinking rules. Our familiar thought patterns need to be challenged, provoked and shaken up. Talk to different people. Talk to people you disagree with, not only to argue your point, but to try to understand their point of view, to see the world as they see it. Really listen to what they have to say. You never know, you may learn something that changes your mind on a subject. It's true of all of us that some of the things that we currently believe are wrong. Constantly challenge your brain because familiarity is the enemy of creativity. It's also important to keep practicing creative things. Just go out and take photos, write, draw, film, edit. Do things without a purpose and just see where it takes you. Now, they probably won't be masterpieces, but it's good exercises for your mind. Creativity, it's like a muscle. You need to work it out. So that's step 1. That's how you create a bank of thought resources. But we need to link those things together. And the key to that lies in a brain state that neuroscientists call the default mode network. Whenever we hear of how a famous artist or inventor or some other creative came up with their great idea, they never go, well, I sat down and I tried really hard to think of a good idea. It's always, I was just vacuuming the living room and this idea just came to me, or I was just out for a run, or I was just making a coffee. But there's a good reason for this, and it's because all those activities are so familiar and mundane to most of us, they put our brains into a kind of autopilot mode. We perform many of these mundane actions all the time, and they're those ones that we do without seemingly conscious knowledge. We are of course conscious during these events, but our brains appear to be almost working on their own. These usually involve doing something very familiar, and where we aren't simultaneously doing other things like browsing our phones. These are things like driving a familiar route, doing household chores, and the most commonly cited one, having a shower. These behaviours temporarily change the way our brains function. Different areas of the brain become more active than usual, while other parts become less active. The areas that become more active form a series of connections that we know as the default mode network. And this is where all those disparate floating pieces of data in your head start to become connected to each other. And this is the key to forming new ideas, to inventing those concepts that don't exist in the world already. Let your mind wander, and it will take you to new places. Now, steps 3 and 4 are pretty straightforward, but they're no less essential. Step 3, write it down. Seriously, if you're driving, pull over, make a note on your phone, write it down straight away. If you're in the shower, jump out and grab a pen. Our memories are terrible. You think you'll remember something, but you won't. And our shift out of our default mode network back into our regular consciousness can make an idea vanish just like that. Step 4, act on the idea. Sounds obvious, I know, but so many people have had ideas and just never acted on them. A great idea without your executing it is worthless. You need to surf that enthusiasm wave while the idea is fresh in your mind, because that drive, that passion, that won't last forever. Don't wait around, just do it. Now this 4-step process, it can't be rushed. You can't just wake up in the morning, watch a film, then have a shower and have a fully formed idea by lunchtime. It doesn't work like that. This is more about a practice for your everyday life. Start to employ these techniques in your day-to-day, and you'll find that you will end up compiling an inventory of great ideas. Now, just a few other points I'd like to add. Firstly, be true to yourself in your ideas. Try to avoid working off tropes and cliches that other people have set up. In order to be innovative, you have to see the world completely through your own lens. Secondly, don't be afraid of bad ideas. Sometimes those winning ideas will just come to people first time, but more often than not, great ideas are the result of a lot of development upon a multitude of bad ideas. Keep persisting, keep developing them, keep fine-tuning them. Most of the things aren't right straight away. Thirdly, get feedback as you're going along. That kind of goes with step 2. Don't just let everything come out of your own head. Gauge how other people feel about your projects. And fourthly, while you should get feedback, you should also have conviction in your idea. You have to believe in it 100%. If you have conviction in your idea, you'll be more rigorous with yourself and you're more likely to make a success out of your project and end up with something brilliant. So if you're a filmmaker and you use Premiere Pro and you'd like to achieve this retro look with your videos, then you can buy my Retro Assets Pack, which will help support this channel. Thank you to everyone who's bought that. I really appreciate it. It helps me keep making videos. There's a link below for that if you want to have a look at it. Thank you also to everyone who buys my Lightroom presets. That also helps support this channel. You can buy those via links below as well, or have a look, see what they do. Thank you to everyone who supports me on Patreon, because you guys are just wonderful. And also thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Squarespace is an all-in-one web hosting platform. I've been using Squarespace for many years, and so do many professional photographers, designers, filmmakers, etc. There's no software or patches to install, it's all done through your browser, so you can easily update your site from wherever you are as long as you have an internet connection. You can easily keep up to date with your analytics, or you can even manage sales through your site as they offer a range of e-commerce tools. The website templates are really nicely designed and are customizable, but you can also paste in your own bespoke CSS code if you want to add some extra functionality, like I've done here with this before and after slider to show my Lightroom presets. So if you want to give Squarespace a go, they offer a completely free trial, so you just go to squarespace.com and you can start building your site and see how easy it is. And if you like it, you can go to squarespace.com/Jamie Windsor to get 10% off your first purchase of a domain or a website. I'll see you next time.